For decades, bad roads and broken systems trapped Burkina Faso in poverty. But not anymore. A new era has begun. In this video, we dive into the incredible story of Burkina Faso and the groundbreaking Foso Meboa initiative, an ambitious plan that's turning dusty dirt roads into highways of opportunity. It's a story of leadership, resilience, and a vision to lift millions out of poverty. Stick around to see how one nation is flipping the script on Africa's development future. Across many parts of Africa, one issue has quietly but powerfully held back progress for generations: inadequate infrastructure. Imagine this. In numerous countries, simple daily activities, getting to work, going to school, accessing healthcare, become daunting challenges because of broken roads, unreliable electricity, and weak transportation systems. Take Burkina Faso as a prime example. In this landlocked West African country, even traveling a short distance between villages could feel like an odyssey. Villagers often found themselves stranded for hours, waiting for transport that might never come, or risking their safety navigating treacherous paths. And this isn't just about inconvenience. Poor infrastructure chains entire communities and entire economies to cycles of hardship. When farmers cannot bring their produce to markets, they lose income. When emergency responders cannot reach remote areas in time, lives are lost. When investors see logistical nightmares, they hesitate, and opportunities vanish. Burkina Faso, surrounded by 6 neighbors, has long suffered the consequences of this isolation. Economic stagnation, widespread poverty, and vulnerability to instability became everyday realities. For years, change seemed distant, almost impossible. But what if that could change? What if a single daring vision could reimagine the entire future of a nation? The heavy price of inaction. When a country neglects its infrastructure, the fallout is widespread and severe. It's like trying to build a house on sand. No matter how beautiful the design, it will eventually collapse. Here's how the effects ripple across every aspect of life. Stunted economic growth remains a major consequence of poor infrastructure. Without reliable roads and communication systems, businesses struggle to function efficiently. Costs rise dramatically, supply chains break down, and valuable opportunities disappear, crippling local economies. Entrenched poverty follows close behind. When farmers cannot sell their goods and industries fail to expand, jobs vanish. This leads to soaring youth unemployment, which fuels widespread frustration and political instability. Limited access to essential services becomes another harsh reality. In isolated villages, bad roads and weak infrastructure turn hospitals, clinics, and decent schools into distant dreams rather than basic rights. Security risks intensify. In regions already battling terrorism and instability, poor infrastructure creates fertile ground for armed groups, while governments find it increasingly difficult to protect citizens effectively. These challenges have kept Burkina Faso and many African nations locked in a painful cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. But recently, Burkina Faso chose a different path: bold, transformative action. The Foso Meboa initiative. In 2024, a seismic shift began with the launch of the Foso Meboa initiative, championed by President Ibrahim Traoré. Unlike so many government announcements that gather dust on paper, this project is a dynamic, tangible movement aimed at rebuilding Burkina Faso, one road, one bridge, one community at a time. Inspired by China's Belt and Road Initiative, which turned China from a developing nation into an infrastructure giant, Traoré adapted the blueprint to fit Burkina Faso's unique realities. His vision is both simple and revolutionary. Construct thousands of kilometers of new, high-quality paved roads. Develop affordable housing projects with proper amenities like parking, water systems, and public services. Strengthen the connections between rural areas and urban centers, breaking the isolation that has held so many communities back. Stimulate economic development through easier access to markets, jobs, and services. And this is not a far-off dream. It's already happening, turning promises into reality. One of the first and most decisive actions taken was the government's major investment in construction machinery. In early 2024, Burkina Faso made headlines by acquiring over 900 heavy-duty construction vehicles, marking one of the largest infrastructure-focused investments in its modern history. The fleet includes bulldozers for clearing land, excavators for major digging, graders for leveling roads, dump trucks for transporting materials, and road rollers for creating lasting surfaces. This was not merely symbolic. From the moment the keys were handed over, the machines were dispatched nationwide, dirt paths were graded, broken roads replaced, and new highways stretched across rural landscapes. President Traoré emphasized no delays, no excuses, and no failure. The goal: pave 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers of roads each year, a pace that could outstrip many emerging economies. Why roads matter more than you think? At this point, you might be asking, why such an intense focus on roads? Why not prioritize other sectors first? The answer is simple. Roads are the foundation for everything else. For farmers, better roads mean faster and cheaper transport to markets, resulting in higher profits and reduced food waste. For students, paved roads offer the chance to attend better schools safely and consistently. For healthcare, it ensures ambulances can reach emergencies quickly, saving lives. For businesses, it lowers transportation costs and expands customer reach. For security forces, it improves response times and enhances community safety. The African Development Bank notes that improved road networks significantly reduce rural poverty. Every kilometer of road built represents thousands gaining a pathway out of poverty. In Burkina Faso, where rural roads often turn into impassable mud during the rainy season, modernizing infrastructure is not just important, it's essential for survival and hope. A vision beyond just roads. The Foso Meboa initiative is not stopping at highways and bridges. It's a holistic plan for national rejuvenation, touching every corner of daily life. Affordable housing projects are being rolled out to reduce overcrowding and improve living conditions in cities. New postal and public transport systems are being introduced, ensuring that even the most remote villages are no longer cut off. Revitalized agriculture programs aim to boost rural incomes by improving access to resources and markets. Expanded energy infrastructure is being built to bring reliable power to towns and villages that have waited far too long, to ensure that every town, township, and administrative village across Burkina Faso enjoys access to modern transport, communication, and basic services. This vision mirrors the African Union's Agenda 2063, which identifies infrastructure as one of the key drivers of Africa's future prosperity. To see the impact firsthand, let's zoom in on a small village near Koudougou, Burkina Faso's third-largest city. For years, this village thrived in agriculture, producing rich harvests of mangoes and shea butter. Yet, a 30-kilometer dirt road stood between them and the markets they needed to survive. During the rainy season, the road became impassable, isolating the villagers for months. But now, thanks to the Foso Meboa initiative, a newly paved road connects them directly to Koudougou's bustling markets. Travel time has dropped from 3 grueling hours to just 30 minutes. Farmers are selling more produce, earning better incomes, and, for the first time in decades, looking toward a future filled with hope. This is not just an isolated story. It's a glimpse into what's possible when vision meets action. Challenges ahead. Of course, no massive transformation comes without hurdles. Even as the Foso Meboa initiative gains momentum, Burkina Faso must confront major challenges head-on. Funding remains a persistent obstacle, although substantial resources have been allocated for machinery and initial construction. Maintaining and expanding infrastructure nationwide demands ongoing investment. Security risks also loom large, with terrorist threats in northern and eastern regions making some projects dangerous. Additionally, harsh weather stresses infrastructure. Yet, the Foso Meboa initiative stands out by addressing these issues early, working with experts to build climate-resilient, durable systems. The power of local involvement. One of the smartest moves by President Traoré has been emphasizing local, community participation. In the past, many African infrastructure projects failed because they were imposed from the top down, often without considering local needs or involving local talent. The Foso Meboa initiative flips that script. Construction. Companies are required to hire local workers whenever possible. Training programs are rolling out across the country, teaching young Burkinabe not just how to operate machinery, but also how to manage projects, perform maintenance, and even start their own construction businesses. This approach has two major benefits. It creates immediate employment opportunities, helping to reduce youth unemployment rates. It builds national capacity, ensuring that Burkina Faso isn't dependent on foreign companies for future development. The sense of ownership and pride among communities is growing. Many villages are now directly participating in planning where new roads, schools, and clinics should be built. This grassroots involvement makes projects more successful and sustainable. The Foso Meboa initiative isn't just changing Burkina Faso internally, it's starting to reshape regional dynamics. In West Africa, neighboring countries like Mali, Niger, Ghana, and Côte d'Ivoire are taking notice. Burkina Faso's improving road network is opening up new trade corridors, linking landlocked regions to coastal ports. Farmers, manufacturers, and traders across borders are already benefiting from faster, safer transport options. In fact, early discussions are underway for a West African Infrastructure Pact, an ambitious idea that would coordinate road, rail, and energy projects across multiple countries inspired by Burkina Faso's success. If such regional cooperation materializes, it could create one of the most dynamic trading blocs in Africa, boosting economic growth, stability, and development for millions. At its core, infrastructure development isn't just about concrete, asphalt, or machinery. It's about freedom. When a village gets a road, its farmers gain the freedom to sell goods at fair prices. Its children gain the freedom to attend better schools. Its sick gain freedom to reach hospitals in time. Infrastructure unlocks possibilities that were once out of reach. This is why the African Union and organizations like the African Development Bank emphasize infrastructure as a foundation for human rights and dignity. Without it, progress remains a dream. With it, prosperity becomes a reality. President Traoré's leadership recognizes this deep truth. In speech after speech, he frames the Foso Meboa initiative not just as an economic plan, but as a moral imperative to lift people out of poverty and into opportunity. Already, stories of transformation are emerging. In the town of Bobo Dioulasso, once plagued by endless potholes and flooded streets, new paved roads have cut commuting times in half. Businesses that once struggled to survive during the rainy season are now thriving year-round. In Saba, a growing suburb of Ouagadougou, a new housing project under the initiative's umbrella has provided clean, affordable homes for hundreds of families who previously lived in unsafe, overcrowded conditions. In the Sahel region, new postal services and expanded mobile networks are connecting remote villages to the rest of the country for the first time ever. People are sending and receiving packages, opening small online businesses, and communicating with relatives more easily. Each of these stories is a small victory, but together they represent a massive shift toward a more connected, prosperous Burkina Faso. Lessons for other African nations. Other African leaders are beginning to study Burkina Faso's approach carefully. Key lessons are emerging from their model. First, investment must go beyond infrastructure to include capacity building, ensuring local people can maintain and expand what is created. Second, prioritize strategic goals by first connecting rural areas to urban centers, boosting economic growth. Third, act swiftly and stay accountable, avoiding bureaucratic delays through public benchmarks and strict standards. Fourth, embrace climate resilience by constructing infrastructure that withstands harsh conditions. Finally, frame development as a national mission, inspiring citizens to participate with pride. If more African countries adopt these principles, a true continental transformation, led by Africans for Africans, could unfold in the coming decades. A hopeful future for Burkina Faso. While challenges remain, the future of Burkina Faso looks brighter today than it has in generations. If the Foso Meboa initiative continues to grow and deliver results, Burkina Faso could become one of the fastest rising economies in West Africa by 2035. A nation once viewed as isolated and struggling could become a symbol of African resilience, ingenuity, and progress. The dreams are bold, but they are no longer out of reach. They are being built kilometer by kilometer, village by village, life by life. Burkina Faso's journey proves one thing: real change begins with real action. The Foso Meboa initiative isn't just building roads, it's building hope, opportunity, and a future for millions. If they maintain this momentum, Burkina Faso could soon become a shining example for Africa and beyond. It's a reminder that With bold leadership and vision, any nation can change its story. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more inspiring stories from across Africa, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you powerful stories that matter.